When you get into the actual performance, this is some large engines that were operating on a drilling rig. There's usually 3 engines. They are bounce anywhere from 1,200 to 1,500 horsepower each. In this application here, we've had them for 3 years. Over this 3-year period, we have not had one failure on any of these engines that we've monitored and kept our product into them. Not one injector, not one injector pump. These engines are typically inside a 90-day period. You'll lose 1, 2, or 3 injectors because they run them so hard. And with our technology in them, you don't have the downtime. Here becomes a downtime in this industry. If they lose 1 or 2 or 3 injectors, what's going to happen? That shuts this engine down. When that engine shuts down, the rig can't run. It'll take them at least 1 day to repair it. That's $90,000 a day downtime on a $20 million drill rig. So these are the workhorses of these drilling rigs, and they have to stay operating. So $90,000 a day is what their real savings is. And they're looking to be able to control the downtime when they want to service the engines. And so do you. So what are the savings on the fuel? They told us on these big engines, if we got 2%, they would absolutely, across the board, endorse it. It wasn't 2%. Look at the numbers. Off these hard-hitting diesel engines, we got 11.18% fuel savings. That's 221 gallons of fuel less per day. Per day. What's the savings? $17,111 savings per month on these 3 engines. That is a significant savings, but then all of the added attributes and long-term use saving them much more than that. So this is some of the areas when we get into large engines. We have this company here, which brought us this diesel engine. It's a large 16-cylinder. It's a Mitsubishi. It's 3,000 horse. This one here is used as a generator and a standalone. 4 hours on this engine. They knew that either our product is a combustion enhancement product, or if it's just a cleaner, it's not going to affect these engines. A high percentage, like 95-98% of most of your fuel additives are aggressive solvents. And they're hard on the system, hard on COs, but once they clean the system up, there's no more advantage to them. That's the difference of this product. We will clean it up. We will create lubricity. But more importantly, we're a combustion enhancement. Brand new engine, no carbon. Let's take a look at the results. We have the outline of what the engine is. Before, this is what they were running, 40% load, 80% load. Afterwards, 40% load, 19% increase. Savings on fuel. That's huge. But the bigger the engine, the harder they hit, the better the product works. But then our product is a plant-based product. And so when they added biodiesel, which is a plant-based derivative, biodiesel is usually, they call it B20. That's 20% plant and 80% number 2 diesel fuel. So when they, with biofuel, and that's where this little asterisk is here, we put it up to 80% load and 23.8% savings. This is huge. A lot of information on the Fuel Maximizer, real simple. Use it, your engine breathes easier, we breathe easier. And the advantages, you're going to save money on fuel and you're going to control your downtime. When I say control it, you're going to lower your downtime and you're going to get operational use from your engine. And when we go into a lab and then we start testing again a very large engine, this is some of the results. This one here is a Battelle Columbus division test. This is a very large engine. Of course, it's a 4-stroke 6-cylinder, 43 cubic inch, 1,400 brake horsepower. A brand new engine. It runs at 1,200 RPM. Now, what's going on with this engine here, it has a selective catalyst reduction system on it. It has a brand new SCR. That means you have to use DEF on it. And they said, well, any fuel product, if you add it to this brand new engine, NOx is going to come up, and you're not going to significantly reduce any emissions. Well, look at the results. We actually took your gases again, carbon monoxide, your COs, and reduced it by 10% on a brand new engine. And then the hydrocarbons, the HCs, were reduced by 9%, and particulate carbon, we always want to keep carbon out at 26%, but your particulate emissions overall were reduced by 43%, where they said that you would raise, if you have any add of a fuel conditioner, you're going to raise NOx. This is what the SCR on it. There is no NOx. We actually zeroed it out. So there was no increase at all in the NOx emissions. These are win-win-win numbers. So here's how the Fuel Maximizer summed up in India. Some diesel buses, we had a 15% increase, and then the black smoke was reduced in a very short amount of time, 15 minutes. And of course they had the improvement of acceleration. Their diesel trucks this is on their buses, on their trucks, they got 8 to 19%. And they were very, very impressed with it. Again, 70 to 8%, but a very visual reduction in black smoke in a very short amount of time, 15 minutes. More power improvement, they had acceleration, and they were raving about it. So the results of the Fuel Maximizer was helping operators save fuel with major problems. So in the testing protocol, you're going to want to know how to measure how is it going to do in your equipment. Well, here's what the mixture ratios and what the testing protocol should look like. You've added 1 part to 4,000 parts of diesel, or a 1 to 4,000 ratio. It can be 1 gallon to 4,000 gallons, 1 liter to 4,000 liters. So 1 liter of ProOne treats 4,000 liters of diesel fuel or gasoline. So it spreads through the fuel immediately, which is saying there is no blending or Y-valve or mixing or shaking. Great advantage. Can be added to stored fuel at point of use. We talked about that earlier, especially marine applications, military applications, to where they may have to store a vehicle and it literally goes into mothballs. So again, a great use in protecting equipment while it's setting still. You measure the performance by calculating the increased efficiency of the engine with the ProOne Fuel Maximizer, and then you calculate the number of kilometers per liter that the engine achieved without. So you have to know with and without, and with the ProOne Fuel Maximizer, start measuring with the 3rd tank of fuel. So you've got your base, you run a tank of fuel through, and you now know how much fuel you're burning per liter or per gallon. Then once you've got that, then you're going to burn another tank of fuel with it. So you're breaking the engine in two. Now you have 2 tanks that you've monitored. Now you start your measuring on the 3rd tank, and you will see what it was and before and now what it is. And there's always significant savings. Hopefully, I know this is a field test for you, but hopefully there's not going to be some added variations in there that skews the test. This is up to you to kind of monitor. See if you can compare apples to apples of testing. Okay, so you notice the added power and acceleration. This is results afterwards. Notice the reduced smoke and the fumes. And a full emissions analysis can be performed, which will show big reductions in particulate and gases emissions. We've already covered those. So as much as up to 80% of the black smoke, which visually can be seen, will be removed, but also in diesel, the smell, the nose is going to tell you it's greatly reduced. This is like in marine applications. We're real close to the coast here, and we have these 125-foot sport fishers. Well, before the product, nobody wants to ride on the fantail of the boat while it's cruising out of the harbor because the black smoke, but more importantly, the emissions roll up, and it kind of makes people sick. Well, this is where the diesel smell is greatly reduced. Now everybody wants to be on the fantail because that smell, that unburnt hydrocarbon that is not a good smell, but more importantly can make you sick, is gone. And now they have more people wanting to go out fishing because they don't have to smell the diesel fumes. A lot of added benefits. I'm just sharing a few. You will have yours. What we look forward to is if you would please share your technology with us. Get your own testimonial. Stay in touch with the person that introduced you to Fuel Max, and please get back to us. We will look forward to it, and stay tuned for more advancements in ProOne technology.